Hello everyone, and welcome to today's Baxter Student Ambassador Program webinar. Presenting for us today is Cheryl Trikha of Centennial College. Hi Cheryl, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Wonderful, I'm good. So before we get started, I'd just like to quickly introduce a few of the people attending today's webinar. Brett Walker, General Manager of Collette, is here. And from Baxter Travel Media, we have Wendy McClung, Emily McClung, and I'm Daniel McDonald. Now, for anyone signed in via computer today, if you have any questions during the webinar, just type them into the chat box or the Q&A box, which are found in your Zoom toolbar, and they'll be answered after the presentation has finished. Okay, Cheryl, if you'd like to go ahead and share your screen, you can start whenever you're ready.
Excellent, thank you. All right, welcome to my webinar, Selling Collette, with a focus on their Australia products. My name is Cheryl Trikha. I'm a student at Centennial College, studying in their Travel and Tourism Services Management program. Selling Collette. Let me begin by introducing Collette. Coming up to its 100th birthday, Collette was started by Jack Collette in 1918. He sold it to Dan Sullivan Sr., an employee for many years, in 1962 when Jack was looking to retire. The business developed, with many of Dan's children becoming active within the company. In 1990, Dan Sullivan Jr. transitioned to the role of president and CEO, where he remains. The company has grown and now employs hundreds who work at its offices in Canada, the United States, and the United Kingdom. Though family ownership holds strong importance to the company, they also value innovation, a unique pairing which may cause its strength. So that's the who. Now some details about the where, Australia. Australia, otherwise known as the Commonwealth of Australia, includes numerous smaller islands, Tasmania and the Australian continent. Neighboring countries include New Zealand to the southeast, the Solomon Islands and Vanuatu to the northeast, and Papua New Guinea, Indonesia, and East Timor to the north. The capital is Canberra, a city of under 400,000. And the largest city is Sydney, with around 5 million inhabitants. To go to Australia, you require a visa, a traveler's visa, for which there is no fee. However, there is an option of applying online, for which there is a fee of $20 in Australian dollars. The exchange rate is currently $1 Canadian equals 97 cents Australian dollars. Pretty close. More details about this visa. It's a visa to let you visit Australia for business or visitor purposes. Well, business visitor purposes. You can visit as many times as you want for up to a year and stay for up to 3 months for each visit. Allow me to present Collette's offerings. Collette Tours currently offers 7 tours to Australia. All 6 are currently listed as special offers, with 1 noted as a hot deal. Let's start with the most complete Australia experience, otherwise known as the Complete South Pacific. This 27-day journey, including 38 meals, starts by getting you from home to Cairns, Australia. No small task in and of itself. Australia contains 19 properties on the World Heritage List, 3 cultural, 12 natural, and 4 mixed. On this thorough exploration, you'll have the opportunity to see many. You will have the opportunity to explore the Great Barrier Reef, Ayers Rock, This big red rock, also known as Uluru, a massive sandstone monolith in Northern Territory. It started forming in the range of 550 million years ago and is sacred to Indigenous Australians. You'll also visit Kakadu National Park, Alice Springs, a somewhat misnomer for this small town, less than 30,000, located pretty much in the center of Australia in quite arid land. The springs part of the name apparently referred to a stream. In this image here, more or less running through. On this tour, there's also Melbourne, Hobart on Tasmania, where they actually have a Tasmanian devil conservation area. I believe it's the real kind, not the cartoon kind. Sydney, Queenstown, Mount Cook National Park, Christchurch, Wellington, Rotorua, and Auckland. This tour is priced at $6,299. Let us continue with their From the Outback to the Glaciers tour. This tour lasts 21 days and includes 29 to 30 meals. Ideal for those with a little less vacation time available, but still wanting to explore exposure to a wide range of areas of culture. This journey is one of extremes, from the wild, arid savanna of the outback to the icy beauty of the glaciers, the cosmopolitan experience of the Sydney Opera House, to meeting the young Aboriginal group Drum Atwimi, from the native wildlife at Koala Park to the topographical splendor of New Zealand's Southern Alps, from the historic gold rush town Arrowtown to modern day Cairns, Sydney, Queenstown, all topped off with a meal at the home of a local family. This tour is priced from $4,649. Also, I should note that all the tours are for the land portion only. They do not include airfare. Next is a 20-day trek with 30 meals, exploring New Zealand tour. This tour visits Rotorua's geothermal vents and the ice sheets and temperate rainforest of Franz Josef Glacier. You'll see the natural beauty of giant Kori tree and Lake Te Anau. You'll have the cultural enjoyment of Auckland, Napier, Wellington, Dunedin, not the one that we're familiar with as Toronto Blue Jays fans, but the so-called original, if you will, in Australia. You'll also have the opportunity to cruise at Milford Sound, explore Otago Vineyard, and experience Maori culture. This jaunt is priced from $6,039. Moving forward to a little shorter trip, which also features New Zealand, the South Pacific Wonders, including New Zealand's North Island tour. I should note, this trip is a 2 on their scale of activity. And most of these tours are 2s or 3s, so in the moderate to low activity scale. This is an 18-day voyage with 23 to 24 meals, also including a guided tour of the Sydney Opera House, exploring the Great Barrier Reef, a visit to a New Zealand farm, as well as Cairns, Sydney, Rotorua, Christchurch, Mount Cook, and Queenstown. Queenstown, sorry. This trip includes a cruise of the Sydney Harbour, encounters with koalas and crocs at Harley's Croc Farm, and the opportunity to witness Aboriginal and Polynesian culture. This tour is priced from $4,409, with the optional Fiji 3-night extension for $810 per person. The Exploring Australia tour. Once in Australia, this tour starts from Melbourne for 3 days, continues to Barossa Valley, another of Australia's wine regions, then moves on to Alice Springs and Uluru, home of Ayers Rock. That's the Big Red Rock. From there, you move on to Cairns with the opportunity to enjoy the tropics and the Great Barrier Reef. Here, the excursion to Harley's Croc Farm to see crocs, wallabies, reptiles, and birds in their natural habitat is an optional but wonderfully educational excursion. From there, you fly on to Sydney, where you'll have a cosmopolitan tour of the city with the chance to do some venturing on your own, or simply unwind and soak in the atmosphere. While based in Sydney, you'll see the Blue Mountains of New South Wales, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, with a further trek to see Australia's fauna at Featherdale Wildlife Park. Partake of Sydney's top-notch dining options before a full day to catch anything you'd missed in Sydney before the venture home. This trip would suit individuals who want to check some locations off their bucket list, but also would appreciate the opportunity for a little independent exploration. This trip is priced from $4,899 per person. This is a South Pacific Wonders Tour. This is a mere 15-day jaunt, yet includes sites already mentioned on other tours: the guided tour of the Sydney Opera House, exploring a New Zealand farm, Arrowtown, the Gold Rush settlement, Harley's Croc Farm, Japukai Aboriginal Cultural Center, as well as one not mentioned but included in some, witnessing opals being honed at the National Opal Center. This tour is priced from $3,689, with a 3-night Fiji extension also available. And from there, we'll take a look at a taste of the South Pacific. This is Collette Tour's 7th offering for Australia, and it is a 13 to 14-day sampler. This island hop includes 16 meals with stops to explore the Great Barrier Reef, Harley's Croc Farm, Japukai Aboriginal Cultural Center, a guided tour of Sydney Opera House, as well as a harbor dinner cruise, and 3 nights in Fiji. Aptly, this trip has been billed as a trip of tropical splendor and cityscapes. And this concludes my presentation on Selling Collette, with focus on their Australia offerings. Do we have any questions?
Thank you, Cheryl. So first of all, I think Wendy has a question. Here we go.
Hi, Cheryl. Thank you for that. I just wanted to know, are these commissionable to travel agents?
Excellent question. I'm sorry I don't have that documentation, and I wouldn't be confident just saying it without double checking.
Okay, that's fine, thank you. Oh, one other thing. I noticed some of the prices that you were quoting were different from what was on the slide. Is that a change in pricing or US dollars versus Canadian? you.
An interesting challenge. I realized yesterday that the site I had been looking at was their American one,
Mm-hmm.
and did my best to update all the pricing
Okay.
in the and following 12 hours. If I missed one or two, I do apologize.
Okay, that's the explanation. Thank you.
And if anybody signed in via computer wants to submit a question in the chat box or the Q&A box, I can read them out to Cheryl now. There's nothing yet, but we'll give it another minute. Okay, it looks like that's all the questions for today. So I'd like to thank everyone that tuned into the webinar. And Cheryl, thanks again for presenting today. It was nice having you.
Thank you.
Okay, take care, and we shall be in touch.
Perfect. Thank you. Have a great day.
You as well.